The news has been pretty crazy lately. There's been a lot going on. We are full of people in our country that seem to hate their own country. Despite how good a lot of them have had it, despite our problems that we do overcome a lot of the times, people have just decided to destroy everything about America. And we have sat back tolerating it. Those of us that are patriots, of us that actually care about America. There's always been this thing that somehow the intellectual side will prevail, and it doesn't. And right now, we're full of traitors, is what we're full of. And we see it in the news, and we see it in the comment sections of YouTube videos and news articles. You have literally American people rooting for Canada, rooting for Mexico, rooting for Europe to hurt us with their own tariffs and trade. When what Trump is doing in a lot of cases is he's using the tariffs as something punitive in order to get things more in our favor, which is what every country does, by the way. Every country does that. But somehow when we do it, we're somehow the evil bad guy. Now, I don't necessarily agree personally that tariffs or high tariffs being our source of national income and stuff, of taxation in today's modern economy, I don't think that's the best way to go, at least not long term. But tariffs can definitely be used to help equalize the playing field, to ensure that the countries that we're dealing with are meeting us at our level. Because in a lot of cases, and Trump has been consistent on this for years and years and years, long before he ever ran for president. And that is that a lot of times we're giving them better trade deals than they're giving us. And to see people rooting against their own country, that's who the traitors are. Whatever happened to this idea of traitors and dealing with traitors? You got people protesting for the illegals, and a lot of these illegals, a lot of them are criminals. Beyond just being here illegally, they're actual criminals, violent criminals. And yet somehow people are taking their side. And this has been the side of the left for years, is to take every side but their own, but the U.S. citizen side. And fortunately, some people have woken up to it. But at the same time, it's only going to get worse, I think. As we see these traitors, this is what communism is. It's about betraying the history of a country. It's about destroying your connection to your ancestors and to the history and to the traditions that make your nation, your people, your family strong. See, it's okay for these Hispanic families to be strong. Can't break them up. How dare you break them up when they're coming across the borders illegally? And sometimes they're intentionally breaking themselves up in order to get across the border illegally. But let's destroy the nuclear family in America. Let's make keeping the man around not a good idea in many communities, because though women get better deals in the court system, right, than if their child's father actually stayed in their lives. So destroy the American nuclear family, but cry and complain every time some child separated from their parents at the border, even though that was a willful choice. And he's saying people, they're rooting for like Europe and stuff against us. You got a lot of people complaining about J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance's speech was all truth. Europe is messed up right now. And for some reason, the free speech thing has become a really big deal, which communists hate free speech. But the free speech thing has become a really big deal, part of that speech. But it's true, In Britain, people get arrested all the time for just making posts on Facebook that disagree with the government. They were getting arrested during COVID simply because they were showing that the hospitals weren't full and people weren't dropping dead in the hallways. There was a nurse that actually showed that, put it on a video and posted it. And then the cops came and arrested her. You got a woman, I believe it was in Germany, facing several years of prison for calling child rapists pigs. And yet she's facing prison for that. So absolutely Europe has moved away from free speech. But freedom of speech was never a part of their foundational principles like it was or is here in the United States of America. And people are complaining about Ukraine and Russia and how we're starting negotiations without Ukraine or other European countries. Of course we are. They have helped very little compared to what we have. Ukraine is only still standing because of the support we have given them. And they can't even account for all the money and stuff that has gone their way. So absolutely, everyone else is going to take a back seat to this. And they should. If they would have put more into it, then yeah, I would see a problem with it. If Germany and England would have put in the same amount of money and same amount of equipment that we have, and Trump was leaving them in the back burner on this, then yeah, absolutely, I would be against that. So we need to start looking at who the real traitors are, who our real enemies are. Because a lot of them are right here in our own country. They want to see us hurting. They want to see us suffering. And I mean, I could just tell you how much it's not right, but we know it's not right. But it's not going to change. None of them are going to listen. This is the leftist playbook, the Democrats, all this stuff. You know, as people are pointing out, you're seeing it on like TikTok and YouTube now. People are talking about how, you know, how they talk about immigrants, you know, who's going to pick my, my vegetables, who's going to clean my bathroom, stuff like that. It's the same arguments from slavery. You know, the Democrats have been the party of cheap labor and free labor and exploited labor for a very long time. And I'm not going to say the Republicans are innocent in that. Remember, Republicans are giant corporatists. And they would sell your soul to a corporation in a heartbeat. So don't ever forget that either. Last week I posted a video talking about how America seems to be an unreliable country because of our form of government and our democracy and the constant shifting of our politics in our country, which we have been. But I had a friend who messaged me about it, and he said, it's not that we're unreliable, we're just reliable to the wrong people. And that I agree with. And I think a lot of what Trump is doing is just trying to force other countries to meet us on a more fair level. Now, is it going to work on all of them? No, probably not. Maybe it will. Will it work for the long term for the economy and stuff? Maybe not. It's just like with Greenland. This is obviously a military ploy. There's all types of shipping lanes and untapped oil reserves of stuff up in that area. And if we don't go for it, eventually Russia or China are going to. And one of the things I disagree with is it does appear that Trump will eventually pull a lot of the oil we get from the Middle East. He's going to back away from getting that and shift it to other sources, whether drilling home and all that. I don't think that's a good idea because the Middle East will just turn to our enemies like Russia, China, North Korea. They might turn to India and stuff. But India, they're not really a friend or an enemy right now, you know. We have had a very up and down relationship with India. I believe we should improve our relationship with India, and I think we should have a good relationship with India. But our relationship with India has been it's been a roller coaster ride over the decades. So hopefully Trump can repair that because him and Modi seem to get along pretty good, and India, I think, will be a good ally in the future. But we need to start focusing on countries that are real allies. Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines. These are countries we need to turn to. South Korea. Because Europe is not a true ally. These are people that mock us. They mock our ways. They mock our Constitution. These late night people, Trevor Noah and James Corden, all them, they're not even Americans that have come. They just complain about America and our Constitution and the things we believe in. They should have their citizenships revoked and their visas and everything. They should be sent back. It is a good thing to love your country. It is a good thing to serve your country. It is a godly thing to do so. Whether you're a pagan or a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim, many of them feel that patriotism is a good thing to do. And I truly believe that loving your country and serving your country and doing the best by your country is a righteous act. And right now we have a lot of people that are not doing good or right by their country and by our country. And this needs to change. It has to. And we need to start seeing who our real enemies are, because our enemies are all around us, and mostly they're within. So thanks for listening again, and please like, subscribe, and share, and leave any comments that you think.